But I remember watching Logan's Run in the movie theater also. It was 1976, I think. I was 12. Yeah, the woman who took me to see Logan, I think she was going off to college, and I was having a bad time in my family structure with my mother was in bad shape, nervous breakdowns. Everything was falling apart family-wise for me, and I was living with my half-brother. It was just an awful kind of situation for everybody involved. Now, the woman who took me to see both of those movies is the daughter of Charlie Lawton, who is a close friend of Al Pacino. And Al Pacino and my mom were in his very first play at the Caffe Cino. It's called Hello Out There. And it's on the internet. The funny thing is, it was in 1963, which is the year I was born, and it's about a pregnant woman, and she says she was raped to avoid, because I think she's married in the play, and Al Pacino is the father, and Al Pacino gets locked up. That's the drift of it that I figured out from reading it online. Very dramatic play. It was in Caffe Cino. I didn't know much about. I thought it was just a regular coffee house, but from finding more about it recently, that's been posted online, which wasn't before when I first found out about this play. It is the birthplace of Off-Off-Broadway. So that's pretty cool. My mom was in the very first play for Al Pacino. And they stayed friends through into the 70s. My mom died young in the late 70s. And Al Pacino was at my first communion. But she's listed on the internet in this play under her prior husband's name. And I know she was divorced in 1963, but I'm wondering if she didn't get married to my father until after I was born, or what happened, because she's listed as Haggerty, Jeanine Haggerty. Her maiden name is Smith, so you would think it would be Jeanine Smith. You could say I was a prop of some kind in that play, Al Pacino's first play. That's pretty cool. If Al Pacino ever gets wind of this, I hope he rings me up. I would love to do a movie about my mom. It's a very dramatic ending, and it could be about my life growing up in Greenwich Village, which is in the 70s was pretty crazy times. That was a whole start of the gay rights movement, so could have that as the backdrop, and all sorts of other stories involved me and street gangs and my mother and her bad guys she was hanging out with, and it would be a pretty dramatic movie. I think it would be an Oscar winner, especially if Al Pacino got involved with it. So hopefully he gets wind of this and looks me up. Anyway, hi Al. I wanted to say that Al Pacino, when I was a kid, and other friends that my mother had that ended up being famous Hollywood actors, Martin Sheen, they really were an inspiration for me growing up, because otherwise I didn't have many role models to look forward to, and Al Pacino was definitely a role model. He came to my first communion, showed that he was interested in being friends with my mom and all. I was rooting for him on the Oscars when The Godfather 2 came out. I remember that. I remember staying up to watch that, and I was like cheering. I was watching it by myself. I had a very lonely childhood growing up in the streets of New York by myself. A lot of crazy stories. At that time when he was in The Godfather 2, we were on Bond Street, which is on the corner of Bond and the Bowery, around the corner from CBGB's nightclub. And it was all warehouse. Now I think it's more gentrified. And I looked up my place that I lived in on Zillow, and it's a couple of $1 million value. When we were renting it, it was cheap. It was full of mice. Just wild stories out of Bond Street. So I hope Al Pacino does get wind of this video and looks me up someday, because I would love to be a collaborator in a movie about my mom. So Al Pacino's close friend is Charles and his daughter was the one who was frequently babysitting me. And it was nice of her to take me out where she left to go to college when I was about 12 years old. Great day, I still remember it. And from me and Robo, take care.